Hello everyone, welcome to next section of our video. So in this section I'll tell you how our app will look like, basically what we are going to develop. As I told in my earlier section of videos also, before developing anything or before writing a piece of code, you should understand what you are going to develop and where your code is going to be beneficial. So I'll first explain you what we are going to develop in this coming section of videos. So as you can see in my this PPT, like what design my app will look like. It will basically get the device location. So if you are using any of the latest phones greater than 6, Android 6, you can see this pop-up window where it asks for some specific permissions. So here I'll show you how to get a device location. So basically this app will check permission before user tries to install the app in any of the Android M, N or O devices, that is Marshmallow, Nougat or Oreo devices. In this app we'll try to access the device location before installing the app. So getting the device location will be used for all apps where you need to know the user's location. Like if I talk about the Uber app, where you book a cab and the driver gets the location from where you have booked the cab and goes there. So for this kind of app, like any Uber app or any shopping app, like you shop something and the shopping site gets the location, and any kind of messaging apps where the location is important, user's location. So you able to use this app for development of any of this type of app. So this app will help you to make any of this app in future. So if the device basically why we need these permissions. So if the device is running in suppose Android 6.0 or higher versions, that is Android 7 or 8, and your app's target SDK is 23 or higher, as I told you, for Marshmallow devices the target SDK should always be 23. The app has to list the permission in the manifest file, and it must request each dangerous permission it needs while the app is running. So this is the most important thing. Some of the dangerous permissions I have already shown you when I was discussing about the Android Marshmallow features. So the user can grant or deny each permission, and the app can continue to run with limited capabilities even if the user denies a permission or request. So the most important you can say advantage of Android M and higher version of devices is that the user can deny some of the specific permissions, but still the user can work with the app. Suppose if I talk about any kind of social media app the user designs, and if the user chooses that he doesn't want to upload any of the jokes or any comments, doesn't want to comment, he can deny that permission and he can still see the app or install the app. But prior to this, Android M devices for Lollipop and all those versions, it was very specific that you should allow all the permissions. So if your app needs a dangerous permission, you must check whether you have that permission every time you perform an operation that requires that permission. Suppose you are using any social media app and you want to comment for any specific jokes which has been posted. So once you try to do it, it will ask that whether you granted that permission or not. So I'll tell you how to do that. So the user will always free to revoke the permission. So even if the app used the camera yesterday, it can't assume it still has that permission today. So this is a very simple example using a camera app. So if you deny that permission, the app will not be able to use the camera. So since all the latest mobile versions check for permission before installing any app, we'll be seeing how to configure our code to check for some permissions for that, and I'll show you an app development which will check for all required form permissions and allow user to move forward. So here I'll be discussing about how to get the access the device locations. So we'll be seeing in the next section of the videos. I'll show you the project setup, so how to set up the permission in your manifest file and initial things what you have to do before start writing code, and then in the coming sections of the video we'll be adding code to our file. So thank you, and let's see you in the next section.